Good afternoon everybody and welcome to today's planning applications. We have two items on the agenda to go through today. Present we have Councillor Lundy, Councillor Convery, Councillor Edlin, Councillor Morrison and Councillor McLean. We have Mr Derek Scott, Michelle McGuckin, Nicola McClaney and John Burke. Are there any apologies for absence?
There are, Chair. I have apologies from Councillors Ireland and Montague, or Provost Montague, sorry.
Thank you very much. The first item on the agenda today is reference number 2025/0569/TP. It is for an erection of three-storey rear extension including upper floor balcony, decking and alterations to side extension of dwelling house. Now we have had some additional information which was just been recently supplied. So I'd just like to pass over to Mr Scott to say a few words about that before we decide if we have enough information to carry on with this.
Yeah, thank you, Chair. Members should note that 4 late representations in support were received yesterday. The Planning Applications Committee agreed on the 10th of February 2016 that for committee decisions, representations will only be accepted up until the date that the report of handling has been sent to committee services. That's 1 week before the date of the committee. Members should also note that a statement from the agent was received yesterday. Given the timing of this submission, this has not been assessed in the report of handling. It will be up to members to decide if they wish to assess this information.
Thank you, Mr Scott. Would the committee have any, what they would like to do? Would they like to continue with this, or would they like to just delay it until Mr Scott has had a chance to assess the information further?
I'm happy to go first on that, Chair. I think considering we don't know what this information is, and the site has obviously been of a lot of interest to planning in the past, there could well be a revision to information that has been considered previously and assessed, and that could be being corrected or updated. My personal view is that it should be held over if they've submitted the information.
Thank you, Councillor Morrison. I think that's my opinion as well. We were all sent an email, but I don't think any of us has had a chance to digest it, as Mr Scott hasn't. So I'd be in favour of reviewing this one at a later date, if anyone's otherwise minded. No. So committee decision is to postpone this and review at a later date.
So yeah, just to clarify, the committee have agreed they don't have enough information at the moment to consider this item, and therefore will defer it to a future meeting where the newly received information can be considered at that time. Okay.
Thank you, Chair. Sorry, Mr Burke. Chair, sorry. So the next one, just let me open it. Yeah. The next one we have on the agenda is a planning enforcement notice. The report is requesting members authorise formal planning enforcement action in respect of the unauthorised use of land on the east side of A77 at its junction with Kingswell Road, Newton and Mearns, for the storage of various containers, agricultural vehicles, machinery and equipment by an agricultural contracting business.
Chair, should I be recused from this as a constituent asked me to see this site with him?
I'm not sure about that, Councillor. I think it passed to Mr Burke for that. There's no legal requisite. Well, unless Nicola would like to come in on that.
The difficulty is not being aware of what discussions you may have had with the constituent. If you have discussed the application itself and expressed an opinion therein, and if you feel uncomfortable with that, I would encourage you to recuse, but it is ultimately your decision, Councillor Edlin.
Therefore, I seek recusal in this instance, please.
Okay, many thanks.
Yes, so if you're declaring an interest in this item, I would ask you to leave the meeting while it's being considered.
Okay.
As it's the last item.
It's the last item.
But we do have LRB to follow.
I'll stick with it.
Thank you.
Okay, I'd like to pass on to Mr Scott just to go through this somewhat. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. Yes, agenda item number 4 is a report to request members to authorise formal planning enforcement action with regard to unauthorised use of land on the east side of the A77 at its junction with Kingswell Road, Newton Mearns, for the storage of various containers, agricultural equipment, vehicles and machinery by an agricultural contracting business. Hardstanding was installed on the site by Scottish Water pre-2016. This was done under their permitted development rights. A condition of those rights is that upon completion of the works, Scottish Water must remove the hardstanding and reinstate the land. We understand that upon completion of those works, access to the site was denied by the landowner, and Scottish Water could not therefore reinstate the land. A planning application was submitted to the Council in 2018 by the landowner to retain the hardstanding, but that was refused in July 2019. A subsequent review of that decision was dismissed by the local review body on the 4th of February 2020. Since then, the agricultural contractor has used the site to store the items referred to above. A planning contravention notice was served on the 11th of March regarding the unauthorised use of the land. A response to the notice was not received, although a planning application to erect a building on the site to store the equipment was submitted on the 22nd of May 2025. This application is not yet valid as it does not address the issue of the hardstanding and is dependent upon it for its construction. Further, the application does not address unauthorised storage on the site. It is not clear if the various containers, equipment and machinery stored on the site are actively used by the landowner or if they are surplus. Notwithstanding, the appearance of the site has an adverse impact on the character and amenity of the surrounding area, and the use of the site is contrary to policies 8 and 14 of National Planning Framework 4 and policy D1 and D3 of LDP 2. It is recommended that members authorise, firstly, the service of a notice requiring the proper maintenance of the land under section 179 of the Town and Country Planning Scotland Act 1987 as amended, to require the removal of the structures, containers, vehicles and machinery, and the service of a planning enforcement notice under section 127 of the 1997 Act in relation to the unauthorised use of the site for the storage associated with the contractor's business. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Mr Scott. I'd like to open up to the committee for any comments. Councillor Connery.
Thank you, Chair. So I was part of the LRB in the planning at the time when this came the first time, and there was legitimate reasons why it was refused both times, and I'm quite actually disheartened to see that they just totally disregarded their decisions at the time and went ahead and did what they wanted to do anyway. So I have got no issues whatsoever with the enforcement.
Thank you, Councillor. Anybody else? Councillor Morrison.
Thank you. I'd just like to ask Mr Scott, in relation to paragraph 2.3 of the report, page 13, that local review body decision, which colleague Councillor Connery also referred to, just to confirm that that is basically the last port of call. They had no further right of appeal beyond that stage, and that was the final decision. There was no possible recourse to the DPA, for example.
Paragraph 2.3 you said, yeah? So the local review body dismissed the application, they dismissed the review in February 2020, so that would be their final, yeah, there's no further recourse there'd be no recourse to the DPA in that instance, no.
Okay, thank you. I really just wanted to check that was terminal. There was no further route of appeal which could arise if we did go ahead with the enforcement notice. So I would also be minded to support that.
Thank you, Councillor Morrison. I think I'd be quite happy to support the enforcement notice as well. Councillor Lundy, have you anything to add?
No, I just agree with colleagues, I think.
Okay, then the decision of the committee would be to support the planning enforcement action.
Okay, so yep, therefore the decision is to uphold the recommendations in the report and for the enforcement notice to be served as per the report's recommendations.
Okay, that concludes everything today. Thank you everyone for their attendance, and we'll see you soon. Thank you.